What's going on, guys? CG Matt back here with the title. Today we are talking about every team's best contract going into the 2025-2026 NBA season. Now, obviously, free agency hasn't happened yet. I can't tell you what a guy's going to sign for this summer. It hasn't even started yet. So I'm going based on what your team has signed today at the time of recording. This also means any player that is unsigned will not be here. So Quentin Grimes will obviously not be here for last year's Philadelphia 76ers, as he no longer plays for the Philadelphia 76ers. Another little general rule for this exercise, I am not including any rookie scale deals. Obviously, a second round rookie is getting paid not a lot of money. Somebody like Jalen Wells would be perfect for this, but he's on a rookie scale deal. I want a guy who's not on a rookie scale deal, who's on an extended contract. Pretty simple rules. We're going to do this and format this the exact same way as I did with the overpaid player on every team video I did last week. So we're going to do it standings wise, one in the East, one in the West. Let's go. We're starting off with the Cleveland Cavaliers. To me, it's DeAndre Hunter. They have a bunch of guys under contract next season. Of course, their biggest steal last year was Ty Jerome. He's gone. Free agent. Sam Merrill was also on a small deal. He's a free agent as well. DeAndre Hunter is the one. He's getting paid about $23 million next season. He had the best season maybe of his pro career last year. Although his defense took a step back, his offense was massive. The leap he took offensively was great. Knocking down his mid-range shots. He averaged 17 points per game, 4 rebounds, shot 47 from the field, 40 from 3, and 85 from the line. He's a real Six-Man of the Year candidate this year as well for Cleveland. I'm assuming he's going to come off the bench. Dean Wade was also in discussion to be here. However, I kind of figured DeAndre Hunter was just a better overall player. But Dean Wade definitely has an argument. DeAndre Hunter for $23 million, though, is a pretty good deal for a guy who has a real chance at winning Six-Man of the Year if he comes off the bench this season. Up next, we have my Boston Celtics. It's Peyton Pritchard, and it's not even close. This might be one of the best contracts in the league, point blank, period. He just won Six-Man of the Year. Next season, he will be making $7 million. $7 million for a guy who just won Six-Man of the Year and broke the three-point make record off the bench. In 2025, Peyton Pritchard averaged 14 points per game, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, over 1 offensive rebound per game as well. He took a career high in minutes, and he rewarded the Celtics by putting up a career high in just about every statistical category. Shot 47% from the field, 41 from 3, 85 from the line. The Celtics are going to be making a ton of moves this offseason, potentially trading even Jaylen Brown or Derek White, assuming Drew Holiday's probably gone, and maybe Kristaps Porzingis. We don't know who's going to get traded, but I'd assume Peyton Pritchard is the one safe guy on the roster, $7 million, and he just won Six-Man of the Year. That's one of the best deals in basketball. While he does struggle defensively, similar to DeAndre Hunter in a sense, he definitely makes it up with incredible offensive production. In the playoffs, he was one of the only real things they had working against the New York Knicks. He looked pretty good. So Peyton Pritchard gets the nod. For the New York Knicks, this is kind of cheating considering he took a pay cut. He probably could have got paid more, but it's Jalen Brunson. The guy is getting paid $35 million going into next season. That's less than his teammate OG Anunoby is worth. Jalen Brunson is obviously the leader of this Knicks team. He led them to a conference finals, the first conference finals for the Knicks since I wasn't born yet. No, I think I was born. They made that run in the early 2000s with Sprewell and them. That's fair. Either way, Jalen Brunson made them the most relevant they've been in a long while. Sure, they still haven't found a head coach yet. Sure, they're going to probably ask you to be interviewed next. But Jalen Brunson's still going to be there going into next season. He's making $35 million. I don't really need to say more. It's Jalen Brunson. For the Indiana Pacers, I have Aaron Nesmith. Now, realistically, they're paying a couple of guys a little bit lower than I think they'd be paid. Like Andrew Nembhard's making $18 million next year. It's pretty good for a secondary ball handler. And TJ McConnell's making like $11 million as well. I chose Aaron Nesmith because he's also making $11 million. In my opinion, if you take Aaron Nesmith today and drop him into free agency today, his first year on his new deal would get more than $11 million, and he's getting paid that next season as well. This guy is shooting 50, 43, 90 splits this season. In the playoffs, he stole them a game, literally stole them game 1 against the Knicks, and he's bailed them out a couple of times in these playoffs with big threes. He's more athletic than you'd think. I mean, if you saw that putback dunk over Chet Holmgren the other night, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But he does have that one issue of overactivity, I guess is the way you can describe it. Overzealous defensively. He does foul a good bit. However, he's still over 40% three-point shooter who runs the floor really well, very athletic, can jump out the gym. This is like the perfect player for the Indiana Pacers. He can snipe, he can jump. I mean, what more can you ask for? For the Milwaukee Bucks, I kind of cheated. I'm assuming Kevin Porter Jr. is going to opt out of this deal and then get a bigger extension with Milwaukee. However, for right now, he does have a player option for about $2 million that he hasn't exercised or declined yet. So I'm going to take the cheap route and go with KPJ. As of right now, the Milwaukee Bucks have 6 players on the roster that are not on rookie scale deals. None of them are underpaid. Lillard's not underpaid. Giannis is not underpaid. Kyle Kuzma is overpaid. One of them is obviously KPJ. The other one's Bobby Portis, who's also not underpaid. So it just has to be KPJ. I know it might be cheating. Oh, Pat Connaughton's in there too, but nobody gives a damn about Pat Connaughton in 2026 going into. Porter Jr. is a good backup guard who, unfortunately for Bucks fans, I guess, more than Kevin Porter Jr., he's going to be shoved into the starting lineup, and he's going to be the main ball handler for an entire season because Damian Lillard's down with this Achilles tear. Obviously, KPJ, like I said, is a very good bench guy. If you have him off the bench, you aren't complaining. However, they don't have him off the bench. They're going to be relying on him for big minutes this upcoming season. Better be ready for it. He had a nice little playoff run, a couple of decent playoff games, and like I said, there's a real reason that they are looking to extend him is because he did have some good run in Milwaukee last year. But again, it's just circumstances getting him plugged into more minutes than he should be playing. It's unfortunate, but not really for KPJ. He might get a bag off it. Next up, Detroit Pistons. They only have 3 players not on a rookie scale deal or free agents going into next season. Those 3 players are Beef Stew Isaiah Stewart, Cade Cunningham, and of course Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris is not underpaid. Isaiah Stewart is not underpaid. That leaves Cade Cunningham. I'm going to argue Cade Cunningham is underpaid next season. I'm going to try and make this argument simply by comparison. Cade Cunningham is up for $38 million next season, about $38.5. He is getting paid less next season than Darius Garland, Zion Williamson, OG Anunoby, Domantas Sabonis, Fred VanVleet, and Kyrie Irving. Personally, I think I'd take Cade Cunningham over all of them. Yeah, I don't think if you put Darius Garland, Zion, OG, Sabonis, Fred VanVleet, or Kyrie on that Pistons team, I don't think they're as good. I really like Cade Cunningham. I think he's a special talent. Real chance he goes far. He makes an All-NBA team next year. They just need to get more talent around him, ideally, for Cade's sanity. Maybe they bring back Bees, Tim Hardaway Jr., some guys like that. But a lot of their team is on rookie scale deals. Duren, Holland, Ivy, Thompson. These guys are all on rookie scale deals. So there was only 3 options. Cade Cunningham at $38 million doesn't seem that bad for the production you're probably going to be getting out of this guy. For the Orlando Magic, I have Wendell Carter Jr. for $10.8 million. It's not a lot, really. The biggest struggle for Carter is injury concerns. He gets injured pretty frequently. He's missed a lot of games in his NBA career. However, last year he was as healthy as ever, really. I think he played close to 70 games, but he did shoot sub 25% from 3. A career low. Really bad. Actually, I don't know if it was a career low because there was them seasons in Chicago where he wasn't really taking threes. You know what I mean. Wendell Carter's a very good post defender, paint defender, perimeter defender. He plays really good defense. I respect the hell out of Wendell Carter Jr. He just has a very inconsistent three-point shot, and he's very inconsistently on the court due to injuries. Injuries are obviously out of his control. Nothing he can do about it, but it is a factor when it comes in. But $10.8 million is not that bad for your starting center. For the Atlanta Hawks, it's a guy who doesn't get enough shine around here. It's Onyeka Okongwu. Doesn't get shine on this channel. He's getting paid $15 million going into 2026, and he took a pretty sizable jump last year if you watch the Hawks. He started 40 games. That was a career high. He put up a career high in points, rebounds, and assists. Got the three-pointer more than ever, shot over 30% from 3, I believe, which is a good benchmark for a guy who hasn't really shot the ball and wasn't even a shooter in college. However, his calling card is still really good perimeter defense. He's switchable. They compared him to Bam Adebayo coming out of college for a reason. Now, obviously, he isn't Bam Adebayo one-to-one quite yet. He still has to work on some other things, but he can still do a really good job defending on the perimeter. He's all right on the inside. He holds up. Not against big men. Like, he's not going to hold a Jokic or an Embiid type, the 7-footers with size. But he can defend a Giannis, relatively well. Kind of like an Evan Mobley. He's in that ilk of big man where it's a lengthy, skinny big. I really like Onyeka Okongwu. He had like a 20-point double-double against the Nets earlier. Actually, might have been a 30-point double-double against the Nets down the stretch last season. Not like it really mattered. The Hawks were pretty bad, but he works well with Trae Young. He can get out on the open floor, and he matches their defensive scheme around Trae Young with Dyson Daniels and Zach Ricochet. I really like Onyeka. I don't talk about him much on this channel, so I'm glad I got to here. For the Chicago Bulls, it's Kobe White pretty easily. He's got that Roy Williams education. He's getting paid $13 million next season. That's pretty good. On the season, he shot 35% from 3, which is pretty damn good, and he averaged 20 points per game, which is a career high. He put up 20 points per game in a season for the first time in his young career. During the second half of the year, he was really, really good. I mean, he even won March Player of the Month. That's pretty good. He averaged about 30 down the stretch of last year. About the last 2 weeks I was looking, he averaged a very high 20 number. Efficiency is still there. It just sucks he didn't show up in the play-in game. That's the one time where I really wanted him to show up, and he didn't. It was kind of sad. However, Kobe White had a very good season last year. A lot to build on. Can knock down the mid-range. He's explosive scoring. He kind of reminds me of Anthony Simons in a way, where it's a lot of jump shot scoring. But buckets are buckets. However they go, they go. For the Heat, they're another team with not a lot of contracts that I'd say are very good value. Hero, Bam, and Wiggins are their 3 big contracts, quote-unquote, and none of them are really underpaid. I think they're all kind of fair. And then you look at Duncan Robinson and Terry Rozier. Those are the 2 horrible, egregious overpays. Kyle Anderson's the pick, I guess. Slow-mo's right down the middle where it's not an overpay. It's not an underpay. Just kind of fine, I guess. It's pretty decent value. He's a guy who can help run your second unit. Obviously, his jump shot looks painful. It hurts my eyes, and I'm sure there's got to be some ligament damage going on in there with the... It's an ugly-ass form. Don't get me wrong. But Slow-mo can help run your second unit. He can pass. He's all right defensively. He likes his little floaters in the lane. Kyle Anderson's pretty good, and he can hunt mismatches. If you put a smaller guard on him, he'll take him down to the post. I like Slow-mo. For the Toronto Raptors, this is another team that just struggles with having guys that, I'm going to be honest, are getting paid a lot of money. Scotty Barnes, $38 million. Brandon Ingram, $38 million. Emmanuel Quickley, $32 million. Jakob Poeltl at $19 million is where I'm going to go. Another guy who just doesn't get enough shine or burn on this channel. I don't talk about Jakob a lot. He has really good feet. I watched him a lot last year. I know saying he has really good feet makes me sound like a sicko. That's not what I mean. He can do a little bit of everything except shoot free throws and any jump shot. Don't ask him to shoot the ball, but a floater, he can get it. He can work down low. I wouldn't say give him the ball consistently, but he can roll to the basket. He's physical defensively. He can dance on the perimeter. He can defend post-ups is what I mean. He's a good rim protector as well. I really like Jakob Poeltl's game. He's kind of a traditional big man, like a throwback big, but he is a plus passer. That's one thing that people don't really talk about. Jakob can make some plays from the free throw line. He's getting paid $19.5 million. He's going to be their starting center next year. It's not really a bad deal. $19.5 million is fine money for a starting center. I had to pick somebody, and if I'm being honest, Brandon Ingram's overpaid. Scotty Barnes is about right where it needs to be. Emmanuel Quickley's overpaid. RJ Barrett at $25 million. I'm like, Jakob Poeltl was who I went with. The Brooklyn Nets have 2 players under a non-rookie scale contract going into next season. 2. Cam Johnson's the pick, and you guys know who Cam Johnson is. He's a great three-point shooter. Has a bit of a pull-up game on him. He can defend. He has plus size. He's also got a Roy Williams education. Very smart player. You ever listen to interviews with him? He knows his stuff. Pretty smart player. He put up 3.5 assists per game last year, too, which is a career high for him. Good for Cam Johnson. Nets don't have many players. The Philadelphia 76ers. Part of me is thinking Kelly Oubre is going to opt out of his $8 million deal. Part of me thinks he might not because he did have a really weird year last year. He shot 47% from the field, but he did shoot sub 30% from 3. Really odd season. He finished at the rim really well. He was more of a slasher last year than a shooter. He's been a good shooter before, a plus shooter. Just not last year, I guess. It's only $8 million, so like I said, I'm not sure if he's going to opt in or opt out of that deal. I looked it up. I haven't really gotten any indication yet. He's a pretty decent defender, though, Kelly Oubre, and he's a good slasher. He finished well at the rim. He's kind of explosive. He can rebound a little bit, too. He was just relied upon to do way too much last year, and I think that's what hurt his three-point percentage was the fact that Embiid, Paul George, and Maxey all missed time, and it became Kelly Oubre and Quentin Grimes one-option ball for, like, the last 2 months. I did not watch that. Hornets are an odd-looking duck for a team, to say the least. LaMelo Ball, not underpaid at all. Miles Bridges, $25 million. Like, that's fine as well. I'm going to have to go with Grant Williams. The Hornets were mildly competitive when Grant Williams was around last year before he blew his ACL. For me, it was either Grant Williams or Josh Green. They both played pretty well. They're both about the same. Like, if I had to rank them in the grand scheme of things, they're, like, pretty close to each other. The reason why I chose Grant is because he's a former Celtic who won us a Game 7 against the Bucks. It's not why I chose him. I actually think he's a positive mentor in the locker room, although he did completely fuck the CBA. He's not a bad guy. He's a pretty positive teammate. He'll protect his guys. He can knock down the three ball all right. He's kind of a jack of all trades. He can defend a little bit on the perimeter, but he's not great at it. He can defend a post touch, but he's not great at it. He can shoot the three ball, but he's not great at it. Little jack of all trades for Grant Williams. And lastly, the Washington Wizards. It's Corey Kispert for $14 million. It's fine. Marcus Smart, Jordan Poole, and Chris Middleton are not underpaid at all. Kispert's coming off kind of a bad year. He shot 45% from the field, only 36% from three, which isn't a career low, but it was pretty damn close to it. Corey Kispert's been a productive player, though. He shot 40% from three before. He's another guy who's floated in trade talks for the last few years now, but never gets moved. Part of me thinks Kispert would strive if you put him in a more competitive basketball nature and not in Washington, but he is kind of like not a mentor because he's not really a veteran, but he's been around for a little bit. I think he was a 4-year college guy, or at least close to it. I don't think he was a one and done for sure. I'm a fan of Corey Kispert. He just gets the job done. That's my answer for the Wizards. I don't like it. I don't love it, but it's okay. As you can tell, I've changed shirts. That's because it's the next day. The power went out last night, and so I couldn't finish the recording. We're here to do it today. For the West, the Oklahoma City Thunder, I have Aaron Wiggins as their best contract for next year. He's getting paid less than $10 million. This is a guy who's very versatile. He has good length. He can switch. He can force the turnovers that Oklahoma City likes. Their defense is very turnover-oriented and forcing turnovers, and Aaron Wiggins fits that. I like that the Thunder kind of did the baseball approach to Aaron Wiggins, where it was extend him while he's still on the rookie scale, so that way he doesn't play his value up and earn more money. Kind of the Atlanta Braves way of doing it, but I respect the hell out of it. 49% from the field, 38 from three during the regular season. In the finals, TJ McConnell's kind of cooked him, and especially in Game 6, it was really bad. But he's had some really good games. He has a 6 3-pointer game, and then I believe a 4 3-pointer game, so he's definitely helped out. Aaron Wiggins, less than $10 million. That's a good deal. For the Houston Rockets, this extension happened within the last week. It's Steven Adams. He's getting paid about $13 million average annual value on that contract. This is a guy who really helped them in the playoffs this year. He was very much so needed for the physicality in the interior under the basket. His rebounding helped out a ton. He was able to let Şengün play the 4 for some stretches, which was huge for them and their ability to force that series to 7 games despite some of their perimeter shot creators looking pretty bad. Steven Adams was very much so needed in that series, and $13 million for a guy who can help Alperen not play against bigs and can help Jabari Smith develop and stuff like that. Steven Adams is a good guy to have in the locker room, and on top of that, he can still rebound. He's one of the best screeners in basketball. There's a lot of things Steven Adams can do. He's still very valuable. $13 million is a good deal. For the Lakers, I have Austin Reeves. He's making about $15 million next season. It's movable. Hey, I'm not saying they need to trade him, but I'm saying I think they should. $15 million is a very movable deal, but even if you don't move him, he's still a very good player. Just got done averaging his first 20-point-per-game season of his career. He still has playmaking chops. We've seen him run some point guard and some shooting guard. He can do both. His only downside is he can't defend. He is a tissue in the wind. All right, he can't really defend a soul. But what he is a good shot creator. He draws fouls at a really good rate, and like I said, he has plus playmaking. Austin Reeves is a very good player. If they choose to trade him, the team that trades for him is getting a great player on a great deal. Or if they keep him, the Lakers get to keep a good perimeter playmaker next to Luka and LeBron, again, on a good deal. For the Denver Nuggets, this is playoff hero Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon showed his worth and his value in the playoffs this year. I'm assuming he's going to opt in to this next deal. I believe it's $23 million for the 25-26 season if he opts in. And if he does opt in, his extension automatically kicks in for the next 2 years, which is over $35 million, I believe. So I think he's going to take his player option just because it's a guaranteed extension if he does take it. Aaron Gordon's a fantastic player. He's taken shooting strides this year especially. He's knocked down his free throws and threes at a more respectable clip than ever. He's become very versatile for them. He can still post up a smaller guard. He can still guard bigger guys down low. And most importantly, now he can knock down the 3 ball. The guy damn near saved them like 2 or 3 times in the playoffs. I mean, he did hit 2 game winners. Love me some Aaron Gordon. $23 million, a really good deal for a guy. Again, this is another guy 29 other teams would kill to have Aaron Gordon on their roster. For the Clippers, it's Ivica Zubac. $18 million is a pretty good deal for a guy that I consider a fringe top 10 center in basketball. If not, I have to write it out, but he's definitely hovering the area. He's probably in the top 10. Zubac's a great player. Physical big man down low, is a really good screen setter, rolls hard to the basket, has some touch around the rim, has floater game. On top of that, he's the anchor for the Clippers defense, making only $18 million. He's one of the best rim protectors in basketball, one of the best paint defenders in basketball as well. He did an all right job on Jokic, as good as you're going to get. Nobody's going to clamp Jokic, but Zubac did about as good as you're going to get for a guy on an island. I'm a big Zoo respecter, Clippers fans. That might be my favorite player on the Clippers roster. For the Minnesota Timberwolves, I'm assuming Naz Reid is opting out. His option is for way less money than he's worth, and on the open market, he will be getting paid more than, I think it was like $13 million. So with him opting out, I'm just going to go with DiVincenzo. Donte DiVincenzo had an okay season in Minnesota. His first season there, it was all right. He started out so bad, but his stats still rounded out looking okay. He finished at about 38% from three. That's not a bad clip for a guy who started out the season shooting somewhere around sub 20. Playoffs, he had some good run. He's a really good defender on guards. He can get steals. He jumps passing lanes well. He's a smart player. He just needs to, kind of get his offense back, be able to make those threes again at a high clip. I'm sure Donte will bounce back to about a 40% three-point shooter next season. I'm sure the start of training camp kind of threw him off, and then having to pack up and essentially move all the way to Minnesota from New York. It wasn't an easy season for Donte, and it started out rough, and it's hard to clean up your stats when you start out as bad as he did. I like Donte, though. I cheer for him. The Golden State Warriors, it's Buddy Hield, and it's not even close. He's getting paid sub $10 million next season, and he saved their season in Game 7 against the Houston Rockets. He was their best player that game. The Buddy Hield roller coaster is real. You look at the start of the season, he looked like the forgotten Splash Bro. He looked like Bahamas Klay Thompson. I'm pretty sure Klay Thompson's from the Bahamas anyway, so either way. He started out looking fantastic, and then it slowly started crashing down around All-Star break. But then the playoffs, he really picked it up again. You look at his stats against Minnesota in the second round, and it's not bad. He looked all right. $10 million for a good shooter who definitely fits the system for sure. A guy who Jimmy Butler seems to have a good relationship with, telling him to stop dribbling, which is probably the right thing to do. Tell Buddy Hield to stop doing anything besides catch and shoot. For the Memphis Grizzlies, I have Jaren Jackson Jr. The guy doesn't have an extension yet, but it's $23 million next year. It's the last year of his deal before he hits unrestricted free agency. Triple J may not be averaging the same amount of blocks he once was, about 3 a game at one point. It helps when players aren't attempting layups around him because they know he's lurking for the block. But what he hasn't done on defense, he has added on offense. His offensive bag has only gotten better since he's jumped into the league, in my opinion. Sure, he's still not a great rebounder, but his three-point percentage is up. He attacks closeouts. He attacks smaller guys. He's learned touch around the rim. He has really good touch around the rim. He has a good float game. He loves to spin left. I really like Jaren Jackson Jr.'s game. He's maybe one of my favorite film watches that I did this season. I enjoyed his game so much. He prospered a lot, especially without Ja Morant. For the Sacramento Kings, I have Malik Monk. He was tasked with doing a lot last season, and so I'm giving him benefit of the doubt with his 32.5% three-point clip. I'm thinking they asked him to be a playmaker, a defender, a slasher, and an all-around scorer. That's not really what he is. I think he's more of a Jordan Clarkson type where it's like, hey, he's a spark scorer, go get 30 or else you're going to play 5 minutes. I think with a reduced role, Malik Monk will have a really, really good season where he's not tasked with being the main playmaker. He averaged like almost 6 assists this year. That's a ton for Malik Monk. Super athletic, can shoot. I know 32.5% clip, but I'm pretty sure it was on a career high in attempts too. I really like Malik Monk's game. He's one of my favorite players to watch too. And he's not making a ton of money. For the Dallas Mavericks, this is a guy who doesn't get enough shine on my YouTube channel. It's PJ Washington. He's only making $14 million next season. He's very versatile. He can play the 3, he can play the 4, he can play the 5. He's a good small ball 5. He shot 38% from 3 last year, which I believe is close to a career high. If not, it is a career high. Good rebounder, good defender. He fills in a lot of gaps for that team. He's very much what they need on that roster. He's physical, and like I said, him as a small ball 5 is almost a cheat code because he's a very good rebounder, and he can stretch out and knock down the 3 ball. Very versatile guy. I like PJ Washington a lot. For the Phoenix Suns, I guess I have to go with Grayson Allen. How much is he making again? $17 million next season. It's not a great deal, but it's not a bad one. I like Grayson Allen. He's a 40% three-point shooter. He has been for the last 3-4 years now. He's been one of the better three-point shooters in basketball. He is a little bit dirty. Let's be honest with ourselves. He's tripped people. He's kicked people. He's done some things that you probably shouldn't have done. But Grayson Allen can still ball out on the court, and I guess who cares about his stupid little antics if he's still shooting 40+% from 3 on over 6 attempts. I had to pick somebody on the Suns, guys. It's either him or Royce O'Neal, and Royce O'Neal was real bad down the stretch last season. I had to give it to Grayson. For the Blazers, I have my guy, Turbo Denny Avdia. He had a really good year last year. He was probably their best player for a good portion of the season. Denny Avdia is only making $14 million next season, which means he will be paid less than Grayson Allen next season, and he's about 3 times the player Grayson Allen is. Turbo Denny can get out on the break. He's real fun to watch. He's a really good defender, lengthy and everything. Now here's some fun stats too. From the beginning of March 1 to April 4th, when Avdija was shut down for the season, he averaged 25 points, 10.5 rebounds, and 5.5 assists on 51, 43, 81 splits. For over a month of basketball, Deni Avdija averaged 25, 10, and 5. That's a really elite stat line. Not many guys do that, and especially with how good he is defensively too, I really think there's a high ceiling on Deni Avdija that he just hasn't found yet. For the San Antonio Spurs, I got my guy H. Bizzle, Harrison Barnes. He's making actually probably too much money, but they don't have a ton of guys not on rookie scale deals. H. Bizzle's making $19 million, but he did shoot 43% from 3 last season. There's a ton of value in that, but $19 million, it's respectable, but Keldon Johnson is not underpaid or overpaid. Neither is Devin Vassell. Devin Vassell is probably an overpay. Fox is on a fair deal. They don't have a ton of guys being paid. I'm going to go with H. Bizzle. He was a sniper from 3 last year. For the penultimate Pelicans, I have Herb Jones. He only played 20 games last year, so it's not really fair to talk about his season. He shot 30% from 3. However, he's making less than $15 million, closer to 14 if we're being honest. Herb Jones is worth more than that. He was an all-defensive first-team guy last year. He was the most improved candidate, in my opinion, last year. He was able to knock down the three-point shot at a very good rate. This season wasn't his best. He only played 20 games, like I said, so I'm not really going to judge him off only a 20-game sample. I really like Herb Jones if he can stay healthy. That's the thing about joining the Pelicans, though, is that you're almost guaranteed to get hurt once you join the Pelicans, it feels like. They're cursed. You heard it here first. Dyson Daniels was correct. The New Orleans Pelicans franchise is cursed. Look at every guy that joins their damn roster. But if Herb can play a healthy season again, I expect him to once again make an all-defensive team. He's one of the best defenders in basketball. He's so lengthy, and that definitely helps him out. And for the Utah Jazz, I have a guy that I probably talk about way too much on this channel. That's the first time you're going to hear that when I talk about him way too much. It's Collin Sexton. Collin Sexton's making $19 million. He just averaged 18.5 points and 4 assists on 48 40, 86 splits. He shot 40% from 3. Collin Sexton, from what I remember him as a prospect, was not a plus jump shooter from beyond the arc. He's turned into a respectable 3-point threat. Plays with aggression. He gets to the rim at a good rate. He doesn't really finish at an elite rate, but that's a different story. He can hit the mid-range. Collin Sexton's a very good player. I think he'd be an elite 6-man on a contending team. I don't know what contending team would give him a shot, but I really want to see him on a good team because him in Utah makes no sense. However, the Jazz keep doing this thing where they keep edging trades. They say things like, we're going to move John Collins, we're going to move Collin Sexton, we're going to move Jordan Clarkson, and yet they move none of them. We're going to move Walker Kessler, and they trade none of them. Jazz are a really weirdly run team, but Collin Sexton's a very good player. That's it. That's all. If you've enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, simple stuff. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to catch you game. See you guys in the next one.